Hey everyone, Legal Alien here. Today we're going to talk about the Laugo Arms Alien Pistol. This is sort of an initial impressions video. Tell you what I think about it after firing about 400 rounds through it so far, and what I think makes this pistol unique. So to begin, let's do a safety check. No magazine, no round. So what you do see in the chamber is the dummy round that comes with the firearm that allows you to do dry fire practice. And you see it's not ejecting, so it's not an actual live round. So what makes this pistol unique? Well, I know it's been done to death, but let's go over it. Let's talk about the takedown of the pistol. You push this pin in, pop this out, takedown pin, push the back of the slide, the top of the rail, pop it out, and boom, the gun is apart. What really makes this unique, besides that fact, is the top rail, which has the sights, does not reciprocate. Only this part of the gun, the slide, does. So as the top rail sits there, it doesn't move. That's quite unique, and in my opinion, that's a game changer, especially when you're using a red dot, which I'll go over in a second. Quick operation of the gun. It is gas operated. So you have a chamber here in the barrel. Is the gas piston, goes inside the gas chamber. You fire the round. It pressurizes this port, forcing the piston forward, keeping the breech face closed. As the bullet then leaves the barrel, the pressure then drops in this chamber, then allowing the recoil to push the slide back. And then the energy is captured by the recoil spring and the remaining pressure inside the piston chamber. So as the bullet leaves the barrel, it then begins to recoil backwards. It's quite the system. While the gun's apart, we're going to talk about the trigger first. So what's interesting about this design is how the trigger actually works. So it's very much like a Glock type trigger system, where you have to defeat a safety to actually actuate the trigger. And once you push that safety in, you can then push the trigger. So what you'll notice here is this little tiny button moves up and down as I actuate the trigger, and when the breech face is closed, you then pushes this button up and down, which in turn actuates the little sear on the top rail and releases the striker, aka hammer, of the pistol. And I'll be controversial and call it a striker. I don't care. So there you go. And it is, yeah, you can say it's a hammer, whatever, fine. So hard to tell in there, but there is a spring that is responsible for the pressure to release the hammer, aka striker, of the pistol. So in theory, you can have two different rails with a different spring in here and completely change the trigger weight. So you can have one for production that may require a heavy trigger weight, and then let's say you want to shoot open. Here's your red dot rail. You change the spring in here, reduce the trigger weight, and now you have an open type gun with a much lighter trigger. That's pretty unique. In my example, they're both the same. We'll verify that in a little bit. So that basically is the operation of the gun. I don't want to get too far into it. So the trigger. Let's go over how that feels. So rack the gun. Once again, you have to defeat the safety here, and then you will see a little bit of take up. Once you hit the wall, boom, it breaks. Here's the reset. Boom. Pretty short, about 1/8 of an inch, I'd say. Very nice reset, and full actuation of the trigger once more. Defeat that safety, a little bit of take up, and then boom, break. It's very much like a 1911, and I think it's amazing that it will achieve this type of trigger with the design of this gun. So that's one thing I think makes this special: the design of how this works to make the trigger work this well. The second one is the grip. As you see, this undercut here is amazing. You have another undercut here where the trigger guard, which basically automatically gets this gun super low in your hand, and your hand is high and on the gun as possible. So then as you present, you see how low the sight picture is. It can't get much lower than this, folks. What makes this amazing, this grip setup, of course, you have the mag release here, which is very well positioned in your slide stop. The ergonomics of this pistol are great. You get nice checkering in the front here, roughly 30 lines per inch, I estimate. I had other guns that have about 25, and this is a little finer than that. You have more in the back here, which really locks your hand in, front and back. Does not like move around. Some golf nipples on the side grips here, G10 grips. Also aggressive enough that doesn't move around, and not too aggressive that beats the crap out of your hand. It's very comfortable. It's great. And what that all works with is how low the barrel is. So once again, it's been done to death on YouTube, but you can see exactly where the barrel is in relation to your hand. It's super low. In comparison to another well-known firearm, CZ Custom SP01 Shadow Target. This weapon is also clear and safe, no magazine, safe on. Just a comparison in the barrel relation. With the rails even, you can see exactly what I'm talking about, how low the barrel sits in the frame. It's pretty remarkable. What that all equates to: high grip, gun low in your hand, super low barrel, low bar access, equals a very low recoiling gun. So there is a the slide does still actuate. It gives mass above your hand, which will cause a little bit of muzzle flip, but it is noticeably less compared to some other firearms. Is it a lot less than the SP01? Not a lot less, but it is noticeable. Noticeable enough. So the recoil comes straight into your hand. The barrel comes back into your hand this way with minimal flip. Compared to the CZ, which hits much higher in your hand, as you can see here, which also does not recoil a lot, but has a higher mass. The point of access here, mass is higher, so it will cause the gun to flip a little bit more, and will have more recoil in a rotational fashion, more than back. It is what it is, but that's some of the differences. Now, what makes this one also very special, as I mentioned already, is the non-reciprocating sights. To me, that is basically game-changing, especially when you have this on it. You get a red dot. So change the red dot rail, boom. Now we have red dot. So the red dot not reciprocating is game-changing. You don't lose focus of it. You don't really focus on the dot, but it stays, the sight picture stays consistent. It makes it much faster to reacquire, thus equaling a faster shooting gun that doesn't give you the consequences of moving something else faster. Or shooting something else faster, something like a regular gun with a mounted red dot on. And once again, safety check, clear. So, yep, the red dot cycles on here. One thing is, it flying back and forth does beat up the optic quite a bit. That's why you have an RMR in here. They're basically almost indestructible, but it does make a difference in shooting each of these. So that's the big game-changing thing to me anyway. I'll put the red dot, my iron sights back on, and we'll measure the trigger. So once again, as I mentioned, you can actually change the trigger by changing the spring in the top rail and have two different trigger weights. So what's the trigger weight currently at? Let's see here. It's racked. Get it going. And what we got for trigger pulls? Let's see. Make sure it's straight. 3, 4, 5. It's actually heavier than I've usually gotten. Make sure this is straight here. I'm good to pull. There we go. There we go. 2.118 ounces. 2 pounds, 11 ounces. We'll go again. 2 pounds, 9.2 ounces. One more time. Make sure it's nice and straight. 2 pounds, 13 ounces. So just to make sure that thing is consistent between the two rails, which is important if you're going to compete with both irons and the red dot, you want to make sure things are consistent. So as it comes out of the box, let's double check. Here we go, put this back on, boom. And here we go. Let's check the red dot. Yeah, let's see, we gotta make sure it's straight. 2 pounds, 8.8 ounces. So far an average, looking good. 2 pounds, 11, one more. So basically what we see here is the same. 2 pounds, 13, yep. So just under 3 pounds. For me, I like that very much. Feels good. And to double check the operation of each, take up, boom, nice clean break, reset, short, boom. Once again, full actuation, take up, boom. So the same. It's amazing. How they able to achieve this with this design is remarkable. Change the red dot back to iron sights, and we'll continue on here. So it's easy to put this on with the hammer back. I'm sorry, the striker back. Okay. So moving on. So is it worth it? Is it actually better? Is it 4 times better than the SP01? Well, it's hard to tell right now. I really have to do a better comparison between the two. I haven't had a chance to take both of these to the range yet to really test them. But what I will do, I'll take this out, 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, and further. Try to achieve the same split times with each, and actually see, do I have better groups with the alien, or do I have better groups with the shadow target? My theory is, within 5 to 10 yards, there will probably be not much of a difference. As I push the distance back, trying to maintain fast split times, I believe that the advantages that this gives you in recoil mitigation will begin to show, along with how well the trigger works. Well, we'll see how that works out when I finally get a chance to do that. But right now, that is my theory. I think when you push the distance back and start to really drive this gun fast, which gives you quicker follow-ups, I believe you may begin to take advantage of what this gun is designed to do, which is go fast. So shooting slow, boom, 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 either gun is going to give you the same performance, in my opinion. You really have to really push this to really get the advantages that it was designed to give you. So you really have to have sub 2 splits, probably, to basically evaluate or realize the advantages that this design gives you. That's my opinion on that. Whether that's true, we'll find out. But one thing to note, if you do plan on shooting a competition, it does come with a holster. Here's the belt hanger, or the belt system that it comes with. And I do have a double alpha belt, which are very thick and very stiff. And one problem that I noticed is when I'm trying to put this on, this belt does not like to go through here. It is super stiff and thick. It is a bitch to get through. And what you do then find is, because this flares out the belt so much, it doesn't want to bend around your waist. So this thing on a double alpha belt, no good. So how did I get it mounted? I have a Springer hanger on my belt, and here's the mounting system that comes with. I basically took it off that belt hanger and mounted it to mine. Just via the back here. There are 3 screw holes that this mounts to the other hanger on. So I was able to mount 2 of them, put it on my hanger system, and voila, I can use the alien holster on my belt. It's very nice. So one thing I want to point out is this metal bracket here, along with the mounting screws, is fairly flush with the holster, you can see. So some of you may not care about this at all. You can ignore this, but as you holster and draw the gun, you are in danger of possibly scratching the finish against those screws. Some of you who like to have your guns nice and pretty will take issue with that. So you can either put some kind of protective film, cell phone screen protector. One person used automotive clear bra, or you can just put some tape in this section here, and you scratching up the surface of your gun will be a non-issue. And for the most part, the holster is okay. Nothing, not the best I've ever seen, not the worst either. And the mounting system works pretty well actually. You can adjust it up and down with different, I guess, competition rules. Open, put it down as low as you want, go back to production, put it back to the top spot, and you're back legal again. Works pretty well. Other than that, the only issues I have, which I mentioned in my cleaning video, is how dirty the gun can get. So, take it apart real quick. So after you fire even 50 rounds, this piston gets really dirty. Everything in front gets pretty dirty. I'll have a cleaning video I'll put here, how we kind of clean it, what I do for lube. But for the most part, that's one negative. It gets really dirty here, and I haven't pushed it far enough to see how many rounds it will take to finally cause a malfunction, or how dirty the gun has to get for it to stop functioning correctly. I'll have to push that more and see. So I've cleaned it recently, and from this point on, I'm not going to clean it. I'm just going to keep firing it and see how far I can go. One other thing to mention is heat. It being gas operated, I have not found heat to be an issue. I did do a test where I simulated, let's say, a stage in a competition, so 30 to 40 rounds, fairly rapid fire, 2 or 3 mags going through the gun. And this section here, from the muzzle up here also, it got pretty hot. Hot enough that I didn't want to touch it. But in this area where I gripped the gun, it was warm, but was not an issue to hold it at all. And one thing I want to point out is underneath here, you have a little plastic shield, which is right under the barrel. It acts like a little heat shield. It does a good job of making sure that this part does not get super hot. So as you try to run the gun, as it heats up, you won't burn your finger. And for the most part, I have not had an issue with the heat at all with gripping the gun. In the front of the muzzle, it gets hot. Around here, it gets warm, but not a problem. So I think heat is a non-issue. As far as the build quality and finish of the pistol, I think it's excellent. It's outstanding. Is it rival a custom gun in the same price range? Maybe not, because this isn't blended into the frame and all that mumbo jumbo. It is, for lack of a better word, overall a production gun, but it's a production gun with super high tolerances and quality. So in no way do I feel gypped with this firearm. I think it's remarkable. I think it is game-changing with the non-reciprocating sights, and of course how it actually recoils. As far as it being reliable, we'll find out. I'm going to push it and see how it goes. So here's my quick overview of the Alien pistol. Please comment any questions below, and if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and stay tuned for the range test between Alien and the SP01. Thanks again. Legal Alien out.